Welcome back. Today with me, I've got Adaobi Onyekweli, and she's been sharing an interesting story of how she was in coma and God brought her back to life. Just before we went on break, we were sharing about your experience. So you shared with me, I know that when you were ill, you went from about 80 kilograms to about 40.
Yeah.
You obviously lost a lot of weight. Tell us about when you could actually hear, them saying, switch off the machine, and what were your thoughts about it at that moment?
I only heard one of the time they said they should turn off the machine.
All right.
Because they said she's that she might not make it, and the people were coming to look at me, and I felt they were coming to say their last goodbye.
Oh,
so
these were members of your family.
Yes, I didn't know, but I could see them from above. Not
Yes,
I
like
could see my body,
yes.
and I was shouting that I'm still here. Don't turn it off. But because when I woke up, the doctor said they didn't hear that. But to me, I was shouting at the top of my lungs, and that I'm still here, please hold on. Then I also heard the time that they stopped feeding me so that I can die, I can pass away naturally. So it's like they withhold, normally they give me like food through the tube, but everything was withheld because I wasn't making any progress. So, and I was very sad because I just said, I need to live because of my family and everybody. So I was just in my own head, but I told this to the doctors, and they were quite, they were very surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, that I could remember all that.
All that. Okay. When all this was happening, do you think you know what was happening? When you were, do you think you were like in a realm, like on another level, in another world? What do you think was happening where you could see down? Now that you're back, not obviously then because you weren't conscious. Now that you're back, what would you think? What can you explain as in what you thought was happening?
It's funny. I didn't even know I was sick. I was just acting out. I was living. That's what I thought.
Okay.
But now that I woke up, I realized that I was trying to get back into my body. And even though I was happy there, I didn't want to go. And I was quite shocked that, it was very easy to die. I didn't know, I thought you're going to live here for 1,000 years.
Yes. Like we all do, isn't it?
Yes. And also the things I saw, I was like, I tried very hard to come back. But obviously I did come back. But I now know that I was just trying to get back into my body, even though I was looking from above.
From above, right. So in terms of when you then came back, how was your recovery process? What are the things then you then started doing? And for you, what were the signs in terms of God being there for you right through all this?
Before my recovery, I had some God being by my side. I didn't know how, but it's like I went through a lot of things, which I didn't know, because according to my family, they were taking me to the scan. They were scanning my brain sometimes twice a day, or just to see, because I was brain dead as well. So they didn't know whether to turn off the machine or not.
Because really, if someone is brain dead, that's a vegetable. You can't really do anything else.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that really scared me. But my recovery, because I didn't know I couldn't move. Because when I woke up, I was thinking that, okay, I'm going to run away from my bed, because I thought I'd been kidnapped. But when I realized that I was really ill, I didn't even know I was ill. When I woke up, I couldn't see, I couldn't talk, I couldn't move my hand, I couldn't move any part of my body. So I couldn't even sit on the bedpan. So it's like, you know, I was just like a vegetable. And the recovery, because every time I had 2 special nurses by my side. So I didn't know what they were doing, but I just saw them. But when I was finally like able to like open my eyes, I was moved to from the intensive care, which had been for almost over a month, to a lower dependency, you know, which was like gradual. Finally, when they took me to the open ward, that was when actually, because people became like in my focus. Yeah, and when I couldn't talk, because I had a voice box that sounded like, you know, as it's you know, children's like robots. So I had to talk through the voice box. And I couldn't eat. I couldn't. I've not eaten for 3 months now. And I couldn't drink water. So my water was given to me through the nose. There's a tube. I was having water through my nose till about 10th of February last year. And I was being fed through the nose as well. So that was quite...
So you had to learn everything all over again. It's from what you said to me, you had to learn how to walk again, you had to learn how to talk again, you had to learn to do everything again.
Yes, I was... I never wanted to talk, because I didn't want them to remove the voice box, not to walk, because I was just too tired to do anything. And I really hated the occupational therapists, because they tried to get me out of bed, to walk, but I didn't know they were helping me, you know, and the physio. So it was like a battle, because I couldn't hold my body. So I had to learn to write. My children taught me A, B, C, D again, and I had to learn to hold a pen. I had to learn to, in fact, everything was like from the beginning. Again,
it's like being a child again, and then learning every process on its own.
Yes.
So at the moment, you know, thank God you're here. Thank God you're sharing your story. And I know you were saying to me how, you know, you totally depended on God through all this. You were just sharing that. Tell us a bit more about, in terms of your relationship with God and how He helped sustained you through that time.
My relationship with God is very, very strong. It's always been strong, but I didn't realize, because the day it happened, before the day my children had closed for school holiday. Usually at that time, it's either they've been in school and I'll be left alone at home, because they told me in the ambulance, if nobody had been at home, I would not have survived. So God made it to happen on the day that the children were on holiday.
So they were home.
And also the ambulance to be there in time. You know, because normally if you have an out of hospital cardiac arrest, you don't survive. It's the survival rate is 5%. So, you know, and I was, you know, it's like God showed up in everything. Then the hospital, for my family not to sign, God was talking to them, because I'd had a few hiccups with them. They could have said, okay, you just sign, but they didn't sign. And because when I recovered, I went to the hospital and I told the doctors, I said, thank you for saving my life. That I'm happy that my family did not sign. And they said, no. That if your family refused to sign, and we know that you're not going to survive, we could have just had an executive decision and switch it off. But we didn't know why. So you can see God was like walking around. So to me,
and you've been back to the hospital, haven't you?
I went on Friday to see the team that saved my life. Because I see them every 2 months.
And I also know that there was a time they invited you in, because quite a few consultants wanted to meet you, because you were like the miracle woman who had gone through all these things. Tell us about that. How when you went there, and you know what happened when you went back after after a while after the illness.
Okay, when I went back, because they didn't know me, but luckily I had a picture of when I was in hospital. They remember that picture. Because they didn't expect me to be able to walk till 2020.
Wow.
So they think, that everything is so they call it a miracle. Even the doctor said we didn't save your life, it was God.
Wow.
And these are like white doctors saying that, not even African doctors. So I now believe that God is using me to show people that there's whatever happens to you, that He can help. So that's the way I see. I don't see myself as a miracle. I believe that God has sent me back, and that is why I said my former work as a health coach, I'm not doing it again. It's still good, but I think I want to create a legacy to be able to show people that there is God, and also use my knowledge to help people that have similar things. Or it could be a chronic health issue where they've given up. Because when I came out of hospital, I was feeling down, depressed. I felt that, okay, this is it. All my life, I wanted to be successful. And now, is it now that I'm on bed, that they said I'm going to be on bed forever, that I'm going to see that success? So I've already resigned to a negative life thought pattern. But God sort of, because God kept appearing to me in my dream and keep telling me, okay, what are the things you said you're going to do? You said you're going to prosper. What are you doing? So I now decided to put some action in. I got a lot of help from people. It's not me. People showed up in my life, and
God would have sent to you. Go on, and you're going to say about the people, how they supported you.
The people that supported me was, I used to have a lot of friends. But when I became ill, when I became ill in hospital, most of them, everybody came to see me because they thought I wouldn't make it, just to say their last goodbye. But when I recovered, I didn't have a lot of support, except the community nurses and my physio. But moral support wasn't really there. But just one of my friends that was there, about 2 or 3, they were like showing me things, they brought me like coaches, which was being paid for. Then I also have like carer support. So all those people introduced me to people that will help me. So because of that, I started to see a different way I can help.
There was hope,
Yes, like there was hope. Instead of feeling despondent, I felt happier. Because I felt, I've never felt down anymore. So I was able to see if I can share this with people, they too will get what I got.
And you're sharing it also because I know that you've written your book, very inspirational book. And I like the title, Discover the Brilliance Within and Create Infinite Possibilities. And I believe that that's what we're all here for, Circumstances might make us discover the brilliance within us, because obviously before you had the illness and you were in coma, you're obviously a totally different person now. Your perspective has changed, in terms of what you said. It's not so much only about the eating healthy and all that, but then also it's made you, realize the importance of, God in our lives and how we all have a purpose. I like what you said about the fact that it's like you've been sent back, to come and help others, and bring that infinite light, that brilliant light within us. Thank you for coming on the show. We're going to round up now. It's been a pleasure having you, sharing your story. And I hope that what you've come back to do, you'll be able to fulfill it, even if it also means, through your book, people read it and they feel reconnected.
Thank you. And the also reason because I've used to feel that I was too old to live, to do what I want to do. So I decided to write the book, which I call Reinvent Yourself, so that I can, to show people that you can change and discover your possibility. So that's what the book is about. And it also says all the things, the steps I took to arrive here today in the book. So it would be good for people that either they are like CEOs or people that are working so hard, self-employed people. It will help them to focus on what is important, which I had to go into a coma to find out.
That's and I think I remember you saying that even stress, because they don't really know what caused it.
Yeah.
Like my SASO has been as a result of stress. That was why all that happened. Well, thank you for being on our show. It's been a pleasure having you.
Okay, thank you.
Next week on Story Before Glory.
We're in the middle of literally fornicating, and I was tormented in that time. He got a knife and literally said, I'm going to kill myself.